Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning in another edition of our Works with DW Spectrum webinar series as we continue to work with our technology partners to expand the DW Spectrum ecosystem. So this morning we are fortunate enough to be joined by a longtime friend and a new partner, with new technology partner, Digital Watchdog, but somebody who's we've had a relationship with a long time. Mr. John LaFond with Sicunet is joining us this morning to talk about the Neptune product. John, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. Why don't you please tell us about the Sicunet and the Neptune product, please.
Beautiful. I appreciate everybody joining this morning and the opportunity that Digital Watchdog has presented us to show you our product and how we have integrated with the DW Spectrum product. It's really spectacular, and I'm going to show it to you right now. So a little bit about Sicunet. We've been a manufacturer of hardware and software specifically for the access control marketplace. We're focused, and by the way, we've been in the North American market for 10 years. Our product has been primarily sold under an OEM brand, or is today actually sold under several different other OEM brands. We're very much focused in on the small to mid-market applications. We're an embedded browser managed platform. Ideally, everything that we do, we focus in on how do we make a dealer more profitable, adding new features and other capabilities within the product itself. Our goal is to then deliver a set of feature sets and capabilities that provide an end user with a higher return on investment because of features or capabilities that allow them to leverage it better in their application and automate certain functions of the product that simplify and provide, again, lower total cost of ownership. Fundamentally, actually, I had a conversation with a person yesterday, and when we talk about total cost of ownership, I had mentioned that I was a diehard Honda guy, and that I've had a bunch of Honda Accords and various vehicles over a period of time, but Honda. And I had mentioned that, when you look at total cost of ownership, it's not what you pay for the product today, but it's what it delivers and doesn't have you incur additional costs over the life of the system. So when I speak to that, I generally pay a little more for a Honda over, say, some other vehicle, but I know that I'm not going to be sitting at the shop. I know that it's going to run for a long period of time, and it's going to give me a great lower cost of ownership. And not to say that we're higher priced. We're definitely focused in on providing value leading capabilities. As an example, to go and integrate the Spectrum product into our platform is no charge. You drop a window down, you select Digital Watchdog Spectrum for the video integration, and put the IP address and a username and password, which I'm going to show to you in a little bit. And that gear now shows up in the access control, and you then link it to doors, and away you go. So that's just one of many other features that we have to offer within the platform itself. We've been selling product for 10 years. There's 100,000 pieces of gear in the marketplace all over the world. So we do have significant capabilities. I believe you'll see that the platform is a fairly mature platform and is very robust in capabilities. So one of the things that I thought was important is, why integration into an access control system is important. If you look, the first section up top here, if you look, each one of the disparate technologies, whether that's video, access, and intrusion, roughly represents, if I was to sell it as a single technology, roughly represents about a $20 billion market segment. If you combined any one of the two technologies together, it's a $60 billion market segment. So with a combination of these two technologies, Spectrum and our access control, just brings you into the sweet spot of where the market is, and it's growing. And it's the biggest slice of our of the overall commercial space. What I did also was just to kind of show you year over year on the bottom section, it's the SDM100 category, and the one on the left represents the residential, a traditional dealer that's focused in on the residential side, and the other one is an integrator market segment. And in both cases, year over year, you'll see a continued shift out of disparate standalone technologies into the integrated segment, it being the largest, again, space on the integrated side of the business. So where do we want to be hunting? What type of technologies do you want to bring to the market? It's an integrated solution. The easier, and this market, and we're helping that market segment to grow, because what we're doing is we're offering technologies that plug and play and are simplified in their ability to be brought together. And so it's much easier and quicker and lower cost for you to deploy and bring to your customers. So what does Neptune, what does Neptune do? Well, it helps you sell a system at a higher price. It helps you close more deals at a higher price. And when I speak to that, if you look at the bulk of the competitors in the marketplace are PC client server-based technology platforms. And so just inherent, if you can open up our box and it has an IEC cord in it, and you can plug it in the wall, and you can go 192.168.0.250, and now you're browsing into that product and you're programming and configuring and integrating. And when Windows 11 comes out, if it does come out, it is compatible with that. Does the system provide a lower total cost of ownership? And is it lower cost to deploy, et cetera? And as I go through this, I believe you'll see that it does. And ultimately, customers are willing to pay a premium for a lower total cost of ownership. And we're talking about, when I speak to lower cost of ownership, a lot of it has to do with the indirect expenses associated with the management of the system as it's deployed over the 8 or 10 years that it's installed in the field. Again, if we can provide you value-leading features that give a better return on investment to our customer base, are they willing to pay more for your system when you go to sell it, when you compare yourself to other competitors out in the marketplace? Generally speaking, if you were to go in and you were competing with any PC client server-based system compared to an embedded browser managed system, and you have the IT person sitting there, 9 out of 10 times they're going to choose to select an embedded browser platform over something that requires ongoing maintenance associated with it. Again, one of the important aspects of this is a turnkey platform. So I'll use the example, we have integrated mobile credentials. How integrated, meaning you open up the box, you power it up, and now you go to add a user and you hit invite, and it automatically goes out and sends a mobile credential to a user. It auto-populates the app in the field, as well as then returns and actually populates the access control system. It's out of the box. You don't have to do anything special, to make it work. Again, the key here is we're looking to bring you back into the sweet spot of not just selling an access control system, but being able to sell access, intrusion, and video all in one solution. The other aspect of this too is it really does give you an opportunity to present a roadmap to your customer base. So it might be that there's a pre-existing video solution in place today. You go in and you install our particular platform, but generally speaking, the life of a video system isn't as long as the life of an access control system, meaning the access control has generally lived on an install for 8 to 10 years. And relatively speaking, many video systems are actually swapped out over that period of time, at least once. So your ability to be able to go in and go, okay, you're going to leave your legacy platform that you have on video in there today, as an example. Hopefully it's a high quality digital Watchdog product. If it's not, though, then you have the ability to say, hey, I'm going to install this access control system, and when we swap out your legacy video technology, we're going to put in digital Watchdog Spectrum. And the one-in-one, the two disparate technologies are going to integrate together and provide you with a powerful, more interactive and more information technology platform, so equaling 3. The other aspect about this too is our product is a hybrid platform. And so what I mean by hybrid is it's something that has a cloud component of it also. So you can manage it at the edge, you can manage it at the cloud. And so you have full capabilities to view video, whether you're sitting at the cloud side, running it through your mobile app and or on premise. And so it provides a component where you can build out some RMR capabilities within the platform. Again, we talked about mobile management. Our product standard within the access control system, again, it's a no charge feature, is a mobile app. The mobile app is connected to the system via socket layer and an AES 256-bit encryption layer. And every system has that mobile function within the product itself. We like to define ourselves as operationally superior compared to other platforms. And when we talked about this a little bit earlier, I mentioned it earlier, it's out of the box. It's ready to go. You open up that box, it has an IEC cord, you plug it in an outlet, and you're programming the system. It has wizards, and lots of people have wizards, but it really does help configure the product and set it up very, very fast. All our hardware and its capabilities are actually done virtually. So you'll find that we have effectively 1 or 2 pieces of hardware, depending on it's a 1-door or a 2-door piece of gear or a 4-door piece of gear. And we virtually then control the functionality of that product. And meaning it can be a server, it can be a client, it can be an elevator module, it can have digital watchdog spectrum integration. It might not have digital watchdog spectrum integration. And so those are all functions that are virtually controlled and turned on and off within the system itself. And again, for us, it's something that's done just a click of a button and away you go. One of the other pieces that we also offer from a operational superiority standpoint is our hardware has what we call a swap key. And if you had a system that was deployed and for whatever reason the server got hit by lightning, got water damage, etc., you'd buy another piece of gear, you'd bring that one standard piece of product out in the marketplace, and when you fired it up, you'd hit the swap button. What you would then do is you would enter the MAC address of the system that failed. And effectively what it would do is virtually move all the licenses from one panel over to the other system. Inherent into our system design also is that every piece of gear, assuming that you have a multiple pieces of gear, has a database redundancy. So in that particular case where I described the server failing, you would use a swap key. It would move all the licenses over, including your digital watchdog spectrum license, your cloud license, anything and everything that you had associated with that product. So all the licenses are in perpetuity, so you're not paying for them on an annual basis or anything else like that. And now I point that server to any other piece of hardware in the system, and I retrieve a full copy of the database, and now I'm back up and running again. Every piece of gear also does have a SD micro card. So if it wasn't, it could be possible that on a single hardware configuration that you would be able to pull that SD card out, stick it into the next piece of gear, and again, be back up and running. It does have FTP capabilities also. The flexibility of having cloud services from an operational standpoint, I was talking to an owner of a business yesterday, and long and short, we had to reschedule something because he was actually out hanging cameras. And he's like, I haven't hanged cameras in 10 years, but I'm so busy that I can't tell people I can't, do an install for 4 months. So he was out there hanging cameras. So wouldn't it be nice if you had generally speaking, in most companies, you have 1 or 2 or 3 installers that are more proficient at programming software-based technologies. And so if you could leverage that one particular individual to actually remotely access the system while I'm on site wiring and setting up the readers and setting up the locks and configuring the system from a hardware standpoint, while somebody back at the office or out in the van or somewhere where it makes sense for them to remotely access the platform and manage and manipulate it and program it and set it up and get it up faster. Generally speaking, in that type of configuration, we find the person that's using the system all the time and familiar with the programming and configuration versus an installer that picks up the product and may install one every other month is 20 to 30% more efficient on the installation of the product. Why are we different? Again, we're different because we have the hybrid technology. So for us to have cloud, it's a one-time fee, and it runs for it's a couple $100, and you have secure remote access. Again, a socket layer connection with an AES 256-bit connection from a cloud function that allows you to log in and see all 100 of your locations, or a property management firm may log in and see 10 of their locations, and a customer that might only have one site also might have just one location that they see. The advantage here, the hybrid technology, is not a subscription-based platform, so that I don't own your data, I don't own the software. It's 100% on premise. The other side of this is that I'll use the example where if you can remember 2-3 years ago in New York City, they found some little potbelly bombs, from little pressure cooker bombs in the subway. Well, NSA, or the city itself, actually turned off the cell service and the internet, and they do that all the time throughout the rallies of the recent months, etc. They have the capability to turn off the backbone for cellular and to internet. And so now the rally's rolling down the street. The government has shut off the internet, and you want to gain access to your access control system, manage, manipulate it, lock it down, do whatever you want to do. You still have on-prem 100% capability to manage that locally. It may be that your mobile app doesn't work, and maybe that the cloud function doesn't work, but again, you still own it. The dealer base tells us that when they have the opportunity to go out and promote to a customer, yes, you might, because we don't charge a monthly basis for cloud, doesn't mean that you can't. And so it's really something that our dealer base has chosen to use in different ways, so that you can charge it for 1 month if you wanted to. Geez, you're going on vacation next month and you want to have remote access to your technologies. Here's your, it's $89.95, or you want to sign up for the 1-year plan, it's $29.95 a month. If you want to sign up for the 3-year plan, it's $19.95 a month. You have that flexibility to offer that capability. But again, the key is that the customer ultimately, when they're educated that they ultimately own the software and the hardware and everything associated with the system, and have 100% local control, then it's, they generally choose a technology platform like ourselves over 100% subscription-based technology. One of the other things you're going to find, again, Sicunet, as we're out trying to carve out the marketplace, one of the things that we're doing is you'll find that we have an exceptional set of features. And I like to think that we have really, really great value leading capabilities. We're not coming into the market as a rookie, meaning we just didn't grind this thing up in our garage a little bit ago and we're buying somebody else's boards or whatever. This is something that's 100% designed, and the software has been out in the marketplace for 10 years. So we've been able to add various capabilities that really polish the functionality of the product. Again, mobile management. What technology today that you would buy on a consumer basis that you wouldn't expect to have a mobile app? We have the same type of attitude, and our dealers love the opportunity to be able to go in and go, Mr. Customer, we assume that you're going to be at home at some point, and you're going to want to unlock a door and view who's at that door prior to unlocking it. And you might want to delete John LaFond because, he's not doing a good job or something of that nature. And so you still have that mobile app to be able to view all your events, view your tagged video, lock and lock on doors, view that live video, add delete users, and have threat level management within the capability of the product. Generally, when you put that placeholder and you tell the customer that it's a standard feature and it's included in your package and you're not going to charge them on a monthly basis, it separates us from most of our competitors. And there's very, very few that customers or competitors that I'm aware of that offer mobile management. If they do, they charge a subscription fee. Not that you shouldn't be charging a subscription fee as an approach. The difference is you might say, hey, our silver package includes mobile management, no charge. Our mobile credentials, however, which is our gold package, I'm going to charge you, $19.95 a month for your system or something, or $5 a reader, however you want to do that. Digital Watchdog Spectrum is no charge integration. It's a drop down, it's pre-configured. One of the other features that I would mention also within the platform is that we do also, the product actually has a quasi NVR built into it. And when I say that to you is if you had a VMAX system out in the field, as an example, we can take the video feed off of one of the IP cameras or off the IP cameras or the RTSP stream and we can actually store 5,000 60-second video clips to a thumb drive. So I'm going to call it, you know, the ability to bridge technology that's pre-existing out in the marketplace, that you can then provide some of those capabilities. And then when you get into adding the spectrum, as an example, you pull in the pre-event buffer and the other functions, the other value-added functions you get with you know, the VMS or the video storage capabilities associated with a true system like Spectrum. You know, when I say there's no monthly fee for cloud, it's a one-time fee. We also have everything you're going to see is an HTTPS connection. We have a self-signed certificate methodology within the platform itself. So we, you know, with socket layer connection, end-to-end AES encryption, 256-bit encryption. And then if the client doesn't have a certificate, we're able to issue the certificate on the technology. No charge mobile credentials. So it was interesting. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, you know, how much do you charge for each one of the credentials?" No, the feature of the product is there's no charge for the credentials. And quite honestly, it's not about the credential cost. It's not that it might cost somebody $3 to $5 for a mobile credential from our competitors. It's all about the issuance. It's our ability to issue a user a mobile credential through the interface with a one-click on a email invite. And so literally we can take a flat file import, suck in 500 users, and one click of a button, I can send out all 500 mobile credentials. The system itself has an SMTP server built into it. It's a registered server. So we pay a shekel effectively to have that service registered. What that means is it provides a 99.9% assurance that the email will go into the recipient's in-bin and not a junk folder, as it's registered with Microsoft and Google and various email services that are out there in the marketplace. The key is that it's not about the $5 again. It's about the time that it actually takes to get a traditional credential from one person to the recipient. And if it's, I'll use the example. We have a little white paper, and what it says basically is that a user of a system that has 100 recipients within the system itself roughly has about 6 changes on a monthly basis. Those 6 changes, if you figure the labor rate associated with that transaction to be a $30 an hour transaction, roughly the client incurs about a $60 cost on a monthly basis for the credential, as well as the transaction time for the recipient to get the credential. It's all about how do I get it in that person's hands, and what's the time and lost cost associated with that. And so long and short, I would show you that over an 8-year life of a system with 100 users, roughly that, I would say very conservatively, that end user will incur $8,600 of indirect costs associated with the issuance methodology and to get the credential to the recipient. If you look at that and you just divided that $8 grand in half, you could charge your customer $50 a month, and you'd save them money. You'd save them $4 grand in indirect soft costs, and you would make $4 grand, $50 on the system for those cost savings. Again, that's per month. So it really makes a big difference. One of the other slick things about the technology also is we offer a standard range reader, and we also offer a long range reader. So the credential is the identical credential up on the gate. You'll have a hands-free, no gesturing experience. So you'll drive up, you won't have to touch your phone. It'll open up the gate for you 15 feet away. In my own testing, in my own home, I generally get 22-foot range on my Android phone. Then I walk up to a primary door or something of that nature. I'm going to call it a traditional reader application, and you'll get a 3 to 8 inch read range. Again, you don't have to, if it's in your backpack or something of that nature, or it's in your purse, you could present that device to the reader like you would a credential that might sit inside your wallet or etc. And it will unlock the door, assuming that you have rights to do that. And so I'm gonna log in and show you a system. But from a video integration standpoint, the couple of the key functions that we offer is we have the ability to have event links. So within the system itself, we'll define some events, and then that might be access granted, access denied, door open, door propped, etc., where we then can create these icons within the event log. You can click directly on that icon, and that icon will then retrieve that particular video event. That icon is also within the mobile app. So in an event view, you get to see that. When you're locking and unlocking our doors, whether again through the mobile app or on the UI itself, you're able to select the door, and then you're able to select a camera icon, and it will bring you a live view of who's coming through that door. A third piece associated with that is we have the ability then to have a recipient's photo stored within the system itself and have a live view. So when that recipient swipes their card at the door, swipes their phone at the door, it pulls up the live video so you can see who's coming through that door. We then have a function within the system that allows us to narrow down those events. In a larger system, you might find that, have to be watching card pops and photo pops and live view would be ridiculous, as it's just too many transactions to have it bring any value. You're actually able then to narrow it down to a particular door or multiple doors. So you want to really just see who's coming in out of the inventory room. No brainer, you can do that. We then also have on one of the primary icons within the system, we also have the ability to have a matrix view of the technology. So, how does it work with the Spectrum? I say it's integration made easy. Literally, you come in, you'll say add a new, you'll say digital watchdog, you'll give it a name, a description of maybe where the location is. You'll drop down, it might say thumb drive, or it might say digital watchdog Spectrum. You'll then be able to specify the IP address. We default the RTSP port. You put in the username and password associated with that. The system will recognize the channels that are defined within the system itself. Okay, and let's see here. So again, when you actually do the drop down, it will provide all that basic information necessary for the Spectrum configuration. You'll need to add the username and password associated with it. You then have the ability to, it will populate the cameras in the system for you. In our case, the maximum number of cameras for Spectrum is 64. You'll then select a door associated with that particular camera, and you can then select the events associated with that particular device. We auto-populate the camera ID out of Spectrum. So, it's that easy. There's no monthly fee. And again, you can view it in the app or the dashboard itself. I think the nice thing is if you look at like the thumb drive option, you could start out where somebody might have a pre-existing video system. You get to show them the value of the icons, or a live view if somebody wanted to be able to sit on the app and be able to remotely view who's at that door to unlock it, and start to work them into what the value is of being able to just click on an icon and video. I say seeing is believing, because if you saw an event that happened in the facility at 1 o'clock in the morning and it happened to say that it was John LaFond's, there's a good chance that I'm tucked in bed asleep and it's not me. So you better check the video to make sure that it really was. And so what's the best and easiest way to do that? The two technologies are synchronized automatically so that you don't have to worry about where they are, because these systems can be in multiple time zones, as an example. And the synchronization of the time from the products are very, very powerful. You can go onto our website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us for a little test drive here, and I'm going to log into a system. But this is also, you can go directly to our website. When you log into our website, you'll see on the right-hand side that there's a demo site. And so you can issue mobile credentials, you can download the mobile app, you can synchronize it right to that particular system, and you could then lock and unlock doors, and you could go to your customer's location, and you could actually show them the live demo via the cloud, and then have the ability to go, hey, let's go add, delete some users, and let me show you the mobile app at the same time while you're locking and unlocking and showing them the Spectrum integration within the platform itself. So now I have any questions and answers? Patrick, should I go up and
Yeah,
I'll
so
hang tight for a second here and then I'll log into a system?
yeah, let's go ahead and log into a system and check it out.
Okay. Let's see what I got here. Okay.
Well, John's
All right.
doing that again. Anybody have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat and we'll address them here.
So this is just a login page. Keeping in mind that we have a function called user roles. User roles allows us to control who can do what. And even in this particular case, as an example, I'll just show you something quick there, is that in this particular scenario via my user role, I also have provisions within the system itself. Should I have multiple video sources in different locations, I can select those video sources so that if I had two systems here as an example, I could make it so that John LaFond can only see system number one, which might be in building number one. As we can, and as a standard piece of gear, we can do 128 doors and 64 sites. We can technically go to 512 doors and 256 different sites. But the user role function here gives you a lot of capability to manage what a person can do and can't do. But near and dear to many of our dealers is the fact that you don't want your customer mucking with the IP addresses and the FTP settings and the time servers and the other functionalities within the system itself also. So here it gives us the ability to control all of that capability. Bringing you back to the dashboard, these are all active icons. So one of the things associated with it is I get tenant number one. If I have a camera linked to it, I can go camera number one and it will pull that particular camera up for me. It's painfully slow as we're running through the Zoom here, and it will kick in here for me. Let me try a different one. And so one of the other things here is I'm just going to select door number two as an example, and I'm going to manually unlock that door. And now I get a video tag. And so I can click on my video tag. I tested this earlier, guys, just so everybody, so you know, and it popped up real quick. So it has to be the interaction that we have going on here. So there we go. So pulls up your video, you get to view the video associated with that particular link. Again, if I had a video tag here, I could select this pop-up. A photo ID would pop when I swipe my card. My photo ID would pop up here. It'd give me my user information. I would view a live video associated with that also. Technically, through the dashboard, we get alarm acknowledgements. We have I can technically take you to the 15th floor if you had elevator control activated within the system itself. What's really kind of neat about the technology is if I can get to it here.
So John, a couple questions, because I think the pop-up when you selected the camera, the pop-up, did it pop up on another monitor? We didn't see it on this display.
Oh,
maybe you're just showing the application.
I'm sorry. No, it's definitely popping up on a different monitor or something.
Okay.
There. Let me try to share it.
See so one other question came in as far as it's a browser-based system, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you're using IE or something.
I happen to be here using IE, but the browser effectively is agnostic.
Okay, so no issues with Chrome or Safari or.
To use the Spectrum integration and view the video, you need to use IE.
Oh, okay. So, okay. There's an issue though with Microsoft discontinuing IE. So
in short order, we'll be updating that in order to have it be so it's not using IE anymore.
Okay.
Can you see the matrix?
Yeah, we got a couple cameras from.
Okay. And so if this happens to be a 4-camera setup, you're viewing it 4 cameras. On the bottom, when it initially popped up, it would give you provisions to put it for a 1-camera view, put it to 4, 8, 16, or 32. A couple of things about keep in mind that the web user interface is an HTML5. The HTML5 is a function that actually carries some security capabilities to it, but it also allows you to be able to view the technology, and I'm going to say on a foldable of the future, as an example. Okay, I see what's going on here. A couple other neat little things associated. Most of the settings within the system itself are actually just one-click actions that allow you to get into the function itself. If it's a multi-click. So one of the things we did was consumer insights. The 6 icons at the top represent the 80-20 rule of what your clients actually use within an access control system. And so in this particular configuration, I'm going to click on and add a user. I'm going to add a new user for myself. Gmail. And I'm going to save this. So one of the things about this particular system is you have multiple cards and multiple card formats. We actually bring in a 256-bit data stream. We binarily decode it so we can capture up to 64 bits of data. What that means is you can take over a lot of jobs. In this particular case, I'm going to select a mobile credential, and I'm going to select the type of credential that I'm looking for. And hopefully you can see these pop-ups, but you get guard tour, you get single presentation on a card, so you can unlock the door for an unlimited length of time. We also can configure that to be a certain time. So you present your card, you want it to go for 60 minutes, you can do that. Passage is a 2-card presentation, one to unlock the door and 2 to unlock the door and maintain it's unlocked. One-time credentials, sequential. So the system has hard and soft anti-passback, has sequential, occupancy, roll call, mustering, man trap, custom reports. So like hazmat unlock is if I was in a sequential anti-passback function where I require a user to come in door number 1 and leave door number 4, but it's a medical facility and now it's faster for a nurse to get through doors 2 or 3, their card would negate the sequential requirement and allow them to have free flow through the facility. Dead man check is if you have a retail application where somebody brings cash to the bank, as an example, when they card into the system then will sit there and count out for a certain length of time. If they haven't come back to the facility within that particular time, you can do something, kick an alarm, whatever you want. In our case, I'm just going to go normal, the 24/7 here for an access level, and I'm going to save it. In this particular scenario here, I'm going to send a mobile invite. Again, if I had sucked into the system via an import utility, 500 people, and I was sending out to a bulk load, it would list everybody in here as the bulk load, all 500 people. So I could click on one invite and it would send it out to everybody. 3 days from now, I'd log into the system and it might have a list of 5 or 6 people from the 500 people that I sent out, 20 people from the 5 that I sent out, 500 I sent out. I then may send it out again as another mobile invite, and then 3 days later, I get down to the folks that have the Cricket and the Jitterbug phones, etc. In this particular case here, I'm going to see if I can. This is my mobile device, and so I'm going to do 2 things here. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to just log onto the dashboard. I'll show you here. So what happens in the system itself, the number isn't populated in the access control just yet here. So I'm just going to log into my email. And it says Postmaster for Credential. I click here, I download the app for the mobile device itself. So if I get an iOS or Android, just click on that. And then I click on Create Mobile Credential. And what it does is it auto-populates the information associated with the user in the system. So I'm system number 45. I'm the 15th user in the system. I'm issuing a 36-bit format here, 9 digits, extremely secure. So I'm going to click Create. What it does now, it grabs the EIN number off the phone, takes it to a credentialing server in the cloud. The credentialing server in the cloud actually is handshaking with the access control system and validating that it's not a duplicate card or code. And so you can see the number here for the app. all I have to do is refresh the screen. I'm going to do a function on the screen. We have what we call clear the cache. And so now I'm going to just bring this back here. So this card number is going to come back and see it auto-populated the access control system for me automatically. So I can click up here, and then I can show you, you can set the range. So on a standard reader, we have a short range, and it's generally speaking, it's going to be 3 inches to a couple feet. And on one of my phones, when I'm on long range, I get a foot. When on my Apple phone, I get a couple feet. But again, very traditional reader type of application. In this particular scenario, also same credential that's sitting on the phone. You can't pass the credential to another user. So even if you look at you download the app and you try to move it to another device, it's not going to work. It's tied uniquely to the ID of the device itself. In this particular case, if I roll up in range, it automatically sends the credential to the system. But yet my application here is I have an underneath garage, and the reader has the capability to tell whether you're coming or going within the system itself. And so, but in this case, I might be mounting the reader vertically on the side of a wall going into the parking garage underneath the facility. And so I roll up, it opens up the garage door, I roll in, but what happens is the parking spot that's closest to the door still may be in range with that reader. Because it's mounting vertically, it doesn't know that's from behind the device. So in that particular case, it gives me a provision to set a timeout so that I can, park my car and I can walk up and get away from the range of the product, and away I go.
So the mobile credential is issued to the phone.
Yep.
And there's no charge for that, or a one-time charge for that, or
no charge for that.
No charge for that.
That's right. Yep. Buy our readers, hook it up. Again, the key here is it's not so our competitors charge. I'll use the example. If you look up HID has a subscription fee associated with the credential. I suggest you as the dealer have an opportunity to create an RMR revenue stream based on mobile credentials, should you choose to do that. In some cases, we've had scenarios where dealers give it away and they go crush it and go get the deal. I had one customer that had 10 building application. It was over $250,000 of a deal. They gave it away. They wanted to go get the market share. And then other cases, people are selling them for $5 a month per reader. They get to a certain number, and then it's $39.95 a month, because you get 20 readers out there. Once you get past 10, there's a pain point where your customers don't want to pay that premium. And so you have the luxury or capability to configure that function. What I want to show you here also is, let's see here. Why did you stop doing that? Okay.
So you mentioned they buy your readers because your readers are programmed for the technology of.
Yeah, so they're unique for us in particular. So the technology we use is a company called Wavelinks. You guys can look them up. You'll find that Software House uses them, Vanderbilt uses it, Brevo uses it, the Identiv guys use it, AMAG. So it's not a technology that's not a proven technology. It has a mullion mount, single gang, keypad reader combo. It's 125, 13.5 NFC as well as BLE within the technology itself. So it's I call it a pedigree technology.
Does the user have to do anything? I mean, can the phone stay in their pocket, or?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's the advantage of the technology. When I use the term gesturing, I'm poking at HID as an example, or if you have to press a button, Conic, you have to press a button as an example. The value going back there is if HID charges, I went down this path and I went in a different direction. They actually charge about $1,000 for the software integration between their cloud services and the access control product, because they understand that there's a lot of indirect labor with issuance. The ability to go and put the information, I didn't have to add the card into the system. It did it for us. I didn't have to send something like a QR code to the recipient so that they could go scan it in on the app. And
you accepted it in the app on your phone, or the email on your phone, and it identified the phone through the hardware on the phone.
That's correct. It has an EIN number, which is a unique identifier associated with the phone device itself. Carried that to the cloud, created the unique credential, then auto-populated it into the access control.
Very cool.
So this is what I want to show here is, so this is our mobile app called Neptune Mobile. It's Murphy's Law, right? Fires right off the bat and crashes on me, but let's see here. Again, I have this mirror.
The browser.
Oh, you see in the browser. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, hopefully you can see the app now.
Here we go.
So the app itself allows you to tie multiple sites to the product. And so in this particular case, I have 5 different sites associated with this particular app. So in this site in the background here is called demo site. So I'm going to click on the demo site. And so we'll see, it'll connect to that. Now I got my log. And ideally here, we'll see the same unlock channel 3 as I think we got the same one here. Let me just, anyway, so you have the capability when you have the event log, if you got an event tag associated with it, you can then go pull up that video event tag. It's working through the mobile app itself. This is once, again, it's slow as I'm connecting through. I'm mirroring it on my phone. I'm bringing it up through. And so you have the provisions here to manage it with the mobile device. I'm sorry, I closed it. Like a dummy. Can you see the mobile app?
Yeah, we see the mirror.
Okay, perfect. And so, so then I have the ability to come in and I can now go and I can lock and unlock doors. This is where it's really going to tell me whether I'm actually on the right site or not. And so in this particular case, I'm going to do a momentary unlock, and it did. So I can see that I got the momentary unlock here. Also, I can pull on the camera for live view prior to actually opening up the door. Now, one of the things that's important to keep in mind that when I talked about that little user role on the front side here, everything I'm doing with the mobile device is 100% audited, like I'm sitting on the system itself. So, you're tracking every transaction that I'm performing on the mobile device also, and like you're a user sitting in the system itself. And so in this particular case now, I'm going to go and that high quality individual, John LaFond, I'm going to eliminate him because he's not doing a good job. And so here I'm able to log in, I'm able to get the credential, I can change my access level. Obviously I can delete that particular user or add a user into the system if I'd like to. Keeping in mind that most of your functionality here through the app is your access levels are predefined, your door configurations, all that stuff is predefined, and you're now just have a simplified view of the mobile app. So in this particular case, you can see I'm disabled over here. My threat levels on the left-hand side are off. I'm just going to pick on an a threat level within the system. We have up to 25 different threat levels within the system that you can configure. And again, and that I want to turn it off because it will impact my ability to do certain things within the system here itself. The last piece associated with it is we have these functions that allow us to perform these activities. So like as a mobile credential, as an example, it again is creating a socket layer from this particular platform, this device, this panel, and it's actually connecting to the web services that are allowing it to interconnect to the app itself. And so I know it's device 45, it's checked in, it's all the status is secure and good to go. If I was looking to add the mobile device as an example, the mobile device here again it's on, it's connected through port 9000. It's connected and secured. I have a QR code. If I brought you back to the app, I have a plus button. I scan the QR code and it will then populate the information associated with this particular site. It allows me then to add my username and password, which would then give me my admin roles within the system itself, and away I go. The next piece here is one of the other functions that we have in here is also this is our RMC, so this is our cloud service. So effectively, what you'll find is that our gear could theoretically be DHCP configured. If it's DHCP, then the on-prem becomes a hard shake because it's something that you got to find it and it's going to change the IP address. But from a configuration standpoint, effectively, once this is turned on, it actually goes, it knows its way home and is going and automatically connecting to a service in the cloud. The service in the cloud is I'm going to log in as an engineering site, and John. And so when I log in, it says I got 300 different sites in here, but if I showed you, a lot of them are offline, etc. And what happens is this is an engineering site. So when we do an update, as an example, we actually have to test from update version 1 and update version 2 and update version 3, so that we don't know what version you're actually upgrading the platform from. So we do that. And we have automated test jigs that actually virtually test all the hardware and auto script activities into the system. And to give you an example, we bang about 1 million transactions into any system over 2 days. And as we're testing it from various versions. Now, in this particular case, I know it's demo. So I'm going to type in demo, and these are the various demos that I have within the system itself. In my case, I can click on link, and link is going to take me exactly onto that exact same system that we were looking at on the local side. And so just give it a second here. And so one of the things is I'm going to admin 1, and we'll see what's going on here. One of the things I have the capability to do then too is also cache that username and password from a login standpoint. So effectively now, once it pulls in everything here for us, good and bad, I'm actually connecting to the site on our website. So if somebody was trying to log in and try to get in with my same username and password, it would only allow me to log in through one. So again, you can see I'm logging into here, coming through my web address, and it is the identical site that I'm looking at here. Right. It's going to kick me out. The other piece about this particular scenario, so you as a dealer, when you log in, you see all 100 of your locations. You as the property management firm, you've seen 10 of your locations, and then the flip side of that is you get one end user. What a bunch of my dealers do is we actually have a function that's called a secure hyperlink. And so what we're able to do here is we're now able to create a link in a way that would allow me to create a bookmark or do something. Let me just jump in here. Let's just see here. What can I do that would be good here? Yeah, I guess I can do a bookmark here. I think I have one that's called access. So here you can see that hyperlink that I just grabbed is the same hyperlink that is on the device link below. And what happens is it comes in with the unique identifier into the system and doesn't care what the IP address of the system is. So effectively what it allows me to do is, and so in Google Contacts, as an example, this is if we could just pretend that I'm a dealer and I have a customer relationship database. And so today I'm going to sign up Patrick's a company, and for fun, I'm going to call it company company A. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to put, because I need to know his name and password, and I'm going to come down here to something that will just give me a good hyperlink, like website. I'm going to paste in that hyperlink. So now I'm going to save it. And so Friday afternoon, your company gets a call and the client is complaining that their door is unlocked and they can't figure out why it's unlocked and they need some help. It's 5 o'clock. My wife is pregnant. I need to get home. Can you help me? Well, what's the name of your company, sir? Okay, it's company A. Helps to be able to type. And let's see here, I believe I'm down here. So now you pick on company A. Okay, well, who am I speaking with? Oh, I'm speaking with Pat. Okay, Pat, what's your password? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, perfect. So now I can then take that link, and again, it's going to take me directly into that particular system. And again, if I had it cached, and I'll do it again for you just to simulate it. Because it'll ask me to cache the username and password here. All right, so I can come back in. I'm going to log out of that particular tab there, and now it's going to provide me with a direct login. And so I can do a shortcut on the desktop. I can do a bookmark with it. I can email the link to you. I can put it in my customer's relationship database so that it makes it easier for them. You know, because we never have a customer that calls us and goes, I forget the address of what that is and what my username and password is, etc. And so here you can, do it all within the the user interface of the system itself.
Well, it's a very cool system. John, just to kind of wrap it up, I know there was one other point that from some, I've been asking you the questions as we've been going along here that have been in. And just to kind of reiterate in terms of the DW Spectrum integration with the Neptune platform, in this particular case, what's happening is Neptune is essentially a client into DW Spectrum. So it's pulling video that's managed by Spectrum into the Neptune interface and giving you that in that NVR function. So, and then associating it with the events there. Just wanted to point that out. We do have some integrations. Spectrum's an open platform. It works both ways. People can send their data to DW Spectrum, or you can pull video from Spectrum and pull it into your user interface, and that's the case here with the Neptune platform. If that clears it up for those that are asking that particular question.
It's a really good comment, because you're correct. We're access control centric versus in some cases it could be video centric with access control laid in on it.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up, John.
Yeah, perfect.
Appreciate your time. Appreciate the effort showing us this. I mean, very cool technology. I love the mobile phone Credential. That's awesome.
Well, I think the digital Watchdog Spectrum integration is really powerful. It's really spectacular. It's super easy to use. Puts the dealers that, the opportunity you guys have given us to integrate really is really good. And I appreciate your time in setting this up and giving us an opportunity. Any questions, don't hesitate to contact us.
So anybody out there with any further questions, by all means, you can send them to me. I'll get them over to John, but you've got John's information there. You've got his cell phone number, his office number. We can answer any questions you like on this particular integration and how it works and how the two products go together there. John, appreciate your time again.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody's time.
All right. Have a good day.
Cheers.